Picture this. You're an old-school Roman general with a spotless reputation. Disciplined. Serious. The type of guy who thinks rules are what separate civilization from barbarians. Then, overnight, you get the one job everyone in the empire either dreams about or dies trying to get: emperor. You have an army behind you, the Senate leaning your way, and an entire empire desperate for stability after a chaotic, scandal-soaked reign. And then you look at the people who put you on top, and you say, basically, thanks for your service. No, you're not getting paid what you were promised. Today on Royal Idiots, we're talking about Galba, the emperor nobody liked. The man who took power at the exact moment Rome needed a steady hand, and somehow turned that into a speedrun of alienating absolutely everyone. Welcome to Royal Idiots, the podcast where we explore the most powerful bad decisions in history. I'm your host, Melissa, and today we're looking at the life of Servius Sulpicius Galba, a Roman emperor whose reign was short, sharp, and, depending on your perspective, either admirably strict or spectacularly clueless. Before we get to the famous no bonuses for anyone moment, we need to set the stage. Because Galba didn't rise in a vacuum. He rose in one of the weirdest, most dangerous gaps in Roman history. The moment after Nero fell, when everyone wanted the throne and nobody agreed on who should have it. To understand Galba's story, we have to picture the Roman Empire not as one calm, neatly managed superstate, but as a sprawling machine powered by relationships. Not just laws, relationships. Patronage. Favors. Rewards. Promises. Loyalty bought and reinforced constantly, especially with the people holding swords. Rome is huge. Spain, Gaul, Britain, North Africa, Greece, the Middle East. This is an empire stitched together by roads, legions, and a shared understanding that the center, meaning Rome, will keep things running as long as everyone plays along. But when the center looks weak, when the emperor is unpopular, the whole system starts to feel negotiable. And in the late 60s CE, it's more than negotiable. It's fragile. Nero, by this point, is not the glamorous young prince everyone once hoped for. By the end, he's surrounded by fear, anger, and conspiracies. Senators feel threatened. Elites feel humiliated. The army is restless. Taxes and confiscations make people furious. And the myth of the emperor as a stabilizing father figure. It's cracking. Then comes the spark, revolts in the provinces. In Gaul, in Spain, powerful people start testing the idea that Nero can be replaced. And that's where Galba enters the story. Galba isn't a flashy newcomer. He's not some ambitious kid with a famous name. He's old. He's been around. He's the kind of Roman aristocrat who did everything the Roman way. Served within the system, climbed the ladder, earned a reputation. He comes from a well-connected family. He's served as a governor. He's commanded troops. And most importantly, he's known as a strict disciplinarian. The sort of leader who doesn't try to be loved. He tries to be obeyed. In a normal year, that might make him an excellent administrator. In this particular year, Rome is about to find out that strict can play very differently when your job depends on being able to form alliances quickly and keep extremely armed people emotionally invested in your survival. So let's talk about the rise. Galba is stationed in Hispania, Spain, governing and commanding forces. When the anti-Nero movement starts gaining traction, Galba is approached as a potential alternative. And from Galba's perspective, this is not just ambition speaking. It's also self-preservation. When emperors fall, their associates often fall with them. Neutrality is not a safe stance in a civil crisis. It's just a delayed decision. As Galba grows older, it becomes clear that his defining trait is this. He believes the old Roman virtues can still run the empire. Discipline. Severity. No nonsense. And in fairness, plenty of people are ready to believe that too. Because Nero's reign has created a hunger for the opposite. Someone serious, traditional, and predictable. Then Nero's support collapses. The Senate turns. The political oxygen disappears. Nero panics, flees, and ultimately dies by suicide in 68 CE. The throne is suddenly empty, and Rome is suddenly improvising. Galba is declared emperor. And at first, it sounds like a relief. A respectable general replacing the scandalous artist emperor. A man of order after a reign of chaos. But here's the key thing about Roman emperors. You don't just become emperor because you're respectable. You become emperor because the right groups decide you're worth backing. And the biggest of those groups is the military. In Rome, soldiers don't just fight foreign enemies. They decide internal politics. If you're emperor and the legions stop believing in you, you are not an emperor for very long. You're a target with a nice title. That means money matters. Rewards matter. Promises matter. When armies or political leaders support a candidate, there are tacit assumptions. Sometimes explicit ones. And during civil crises, those promises get louder, clearer, and more expensive. So Galba is on his way to Rome, and support is swirling around him. But it's not pure devotion. It's conditional loyalty. People are expecting recognition, appointments, influence, and yes, cash. Because that's how the machine runs. Now we arrive at the moment that defines our story. Galba has won. Nero is gone. His emperor. And he has a choice. The smart option is to stabilize the transition. Reward the people who took risks to back you. Pay what was promised, even if you privately dislike it. Keep the soldiers content while you consolidate power. Once you're secure, then you can be the strict reformer. Then you can tighten things. Instead, Galba chooses the opposite order. He basically looks at the culture of bribery and bonuses and says, I'm ending this. Which, ethically, you can almost admire. Rome has a real problem with leaders buying loyalty. It encourages corruption and permanent instability. If every army expects a payout every time a new emperor arrives, then emperors become temporary, placeholders until someone offers a better deal. But admiration does not keep you alive in Roman politics. Galba refuses to pay the rewards that various soldiers and supporters believe they were promised. Not just a delay. Not a negotiated reduction. A refusal framed as principle. And if you're listening to this like, okay, so he's trying to restore fiscal responsibility, you're thinking like a modern person with a salary and a stable government. A Roman legionary is thinking, I helped make you emperor. I put my body on the line. I'm stationed far from home. And you're telling me the deal doesn't count now that you've gotten what you wanted. That feeling, being used, being dismissed, spreads fast. And it's not just the troops. Galba has another problem. He's not warm. He's not charming. He doesn't do the soft skills required to make enemies pause and allies feel valued. He's severe, and the people around him don't help. He becomes associated with influence from advisors and favorites, and that creates the impression that even this old Roman virtue emperor is being steered by court politics. So on one side, the soldiers feel cheated. On another side, elites and administrators who hoped for a smooth transition see a leader who seems inflexible and out of touch with what the moment demands. And in the middle are ordinary Romans who don't necessarily care about theory. They care about stability, food supply, order in the streets, the sense that tomorrow won't be worse than today. Galba's approach makes everyone nervous. Here's something that's easy to overlook. Rome's government isn't built to handle a messy succession cleanly. There isn't a universally accepted legal process like an election where everyone agrees to accept results. Emperors name heirs, armies shout for candidates, the Senate tries to survive, and legitimacy is basically a public argument backed by force. So Galba needs two things immediately: the army's loyalty and a clear succession plan. But he's losing the first while fumbling the second. Because as support starts slipping, people begin scanning for alternatives. Ambitious Roman leaders and commanders are like sharks in warm water. If they smell weakness, they start circling. And Galba's greatest weakness is that he believes being right is enough. He believes that discipline should be rewarded with obedience. But Rome in 68 and 69 is not a classroom. It's a knife fight. So what happens next is almost inevitable. Unsurprisingly, Galba's decision has consequences. Discontent in the military becomes open resentment. Certain legions feel especially ignored and insulted. And when troops are angry, the question becomes, who can turn that anger into a bid for power? Enter Otho. Otho is part of Galba's world, an ambitious figure with connections, someone who expects to play a role in the new regime. And at some point, Otho comes to believe that Galba isn't going to give him what he wants. Whether that's position, favor, or the hope of being named successor, the result is the same. Otho decides waiting is for people who want to die quietly. Otho starts building support among the Praetorian Guard, the elite soldiers in Rome who are supposed to protect the emperor, and who are also famous for being extremely interested in who pays them and who respects them. And remember how Galba handled the money situation. The Praetorians are not thrilled. This is the deadly irony of Galba's reign. He tries to clamp down on the exact incentive structure that makes coups profitable, but because he does it without securing loyalty first, it actually makes the coup easier. People don't feel bound by gratitude. They feel pushed away. So the conspiracy grows. Whispers become plans. Plans become appointments. And then, in early 69 CE, it snaps into action. Galba is out in public when the coup unfolds. The guard that should be most invested in his safety is now aligned with the man replacing him. Confusion hits, then clarity, then violence. Galba is killed. Assassinated. His reign, depending on how you count it, lasts only a handful of months. And that's not the end of the instability. Not even close. Because Galba's fall is the opening act of what Romans will remember as the year of the four emperors. Galba, Otho, Vitellius, and Vespasian. A brutal sequence of fast-moving claims, military backing, and civil war energy pulsing through the empire. So, what did Galba's choices actually cause? Beyond his personal downfall? First, his refusal to play the patronage game when the system was at its most unstable taught a lesson. Just not the lesson he wanted to teach. He wanted to prove that emperors shouldn't be purchased and loyalty shouldn't be rented. What he demonstrated, instead, was that an emperor who ignores the expectations of the soldiers in his first weeks is an emperor with an expiration date. Second, Galba's failure accelerated the importance of military loyalty as the deciding factor in Roman politics. Not that it was ever unimportant, but this period screams it. The empire's leadership is basically being auctioned through allegiance. Third, it deepened the idea that legitimacy is performative. You can have a noble background, decades of service, Senate approval, and the image of virtue. But if you can't keep the right armed groups invested in your rule, your resume becomes a eulogy. Now, to be fair to Galba, historians don't agree on every detail of his character. Some sources portray him as harsh to the point of cruelty, others as a well-meaning reformer who simply arrived at the worst possible moment. Ancient writers also love a moral narrative. The strict man who refused to buy loyalty and was punished by a corrupt world. That story has a certain dramatic symmetry. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Even if Galba's motives were pure, his execution was politically naive. Because he wasn't just managing a budget. He was managing a transition of legitimacy. Think about it like this. If you take over a company in crisis and announce, on day one, that everyone's bonuses are cancelled and half the perks are gone, you might be right on the numbers. But you've also told your workforce, I'm not on your side, before you've earned any trust. Now replace workforce with professional soldiers trained to kill, and you can see why Galba's management style did not scale well. So what's his legacy? Despite the chaos of his reign, Galba left a lasting mark on history in a strange way. He's a perfect case study in how Rome actually functioned. Not in theory, but in practice. His story underlines that Roman emperors were not just rulers, they were coalition managers. They had to balance the Senate, the people of Rome, provincial elites, and, above all, the military. They had to make their authority feel inevitable. They had to pay attention to pride as much as policy. Galba reminds us that virtue in leadership doesn't automatically translate to effective governance, especially when the surrounding system runs on incentives you personally dislike. And his downfall sets the stage for what comes next. The civil chaos eventually produces Vespasian, who understands the rules of Roman power better, and who will build a new dynasty by doing what Galba refused to do early enough: lock down military loyalty and stabilize the money flow. In that sense, Galba is like the cautionary tale Rome needed to hear, delivered in the most Roman way possible. Quickly, violently, and with a fresh emperor by the end of the week. Now it's time for the royal idiot verdict. So how should we judge Galba? Let's be honest. He's not a clown. He's not wildly incompetent. He's not making decisions because of pure ego or delusion. In some ways, his instincts, restore discipline, stop buying loyalty, reassert traditional standards, sound like the kind of reform people claim they want. But leadership isn't just about wanting the right outcome. It's about timing and survival. And Galba's signature move, refusing to honor expectations he benefited from, wasn't just unpopular. It was strategically suicidal in the specific context of Rome after Nero. He didn't read the room. He didn't secure his base. He treated a fragile political moment like a morality lecture. On the royal idiot scale, I'm giving Galba royal disaster. Not legendary idiot, because you can see the logic. But royal disaster because he took the one resource an emperor absolutely cannot waste in a succession crisis, military goodwill, and burned through it almost immediately. Next time on Royal Idiots, we'll explore Otho, his successor, and we'll ask the same question we always do. Was it bad luck, bad judgment, or a little bit of both? If you enjoyed this episode, follow the podcast and share it with a fellow history fan who loves a good political meltdown. And if someone in your life has ever said, "I don't care if people like me," you can gently remind them, Galba tried that too. It didn't go great.